Hey athletes, Coach Becky here, and welcome to your full body stretch. I'm going to start in a kneeling position. Your option here is either with your feet flat or tucking all 10 toes underneath you. This may become uncomfortable after a little bit, but I urge you guys to try and get to that position. And we're just going to start off with a couple nice shoulder rolls, big deep breaths, centering our focus inwardly and bringing your awareness and attention towards your own bodies and your breathing. You can untuck your toes here if that position becomes a little bit uncomfortable, and we'll take a neck stretch here, bringing your right hand towards your left ear and drawing your right ear towards your right shoulder. You can extend the left arm and just add a little rotation through the shoulder joint, making sure to extend the fingers and the palm nice and wide. And gently releasing and drawing the left arm up overhead into a side bend stretch. Really focusing on the lats here. And then lifting up, coming back to center focus and drawing the left ear towards the left shoulder, using the left hand to draw the head down ever so slightly. Extending the right arm, adding a shoulder rotation, and a nice wide palm. Left hand to the floor, taking that side bend. Looking up at the right arm, we'll take an inhale here and release on the exhale. Take both arms and reach them up overhead, and then bow your head forwards as you bend at the elbows, reaching your fingertips down the center of your spine. We'll repeat this. Breathe in, looking up at the hands, breathing out, looking down towards the chest. One more time, big inhale, exhale, bend those elbows, reach down the back tricep stretch. Hands come back to center, connect your elbows in towards one another so that they're touching. And we're gonna go through some shoulder slide and glides here. So you're just going to raise your hands and your elbows up and then draw the elbows down towards your legs. Focusing your attention towards your core. Bring the arms apart to cactus, flip the hands over and then back up again to reconnect. Arms open, hands down, hands up, and arms close. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, and reconnect. Exhale. One more time. Arms open up to cactus stretch. Bring the chest up towards the sky, and then exhale, flip the hands round through your spine and extend the arms back. Head comes down towards the floor into a child's pose. Sweep the arms around in front of you and then come back up to a kneeling position. We'll work the elbows back in together and go into an eagle arm position. So cross your left elbow underneath the right and connect your palms of your hands together. If your arms cannot reach here, just keep the backs of your hands trying to touch. And then go into a couple shoulder slide and glides of the scapula. Wrap the hands around towards the shoulder blades and just go into a little rib cage rotation here. One time in each direction, letting the head follow. And then re-center the arms. Cross the right elbow underneath the left. Connect the palms of the hands into your eagle stretch on the other side. Once again, scapular slide and glides, lifting the elbows up and down, and then into the rib cage hug, releasing the grip of the hands, wrapping the palms of the hands on the scapula, bowing the head forwards and going into a nice broad circle, isolating the rib cage here and flowing with your breath. Reach the arms up overhead as you inhale, and then we'll work into some ankle mobility here. Take your hands towards the front of your mat, almost like you're about to go into a plank. Bring your left leg back towards the back end of the mat and just rock gently through the ankle joint here. And switch sides, go through a couple rocks back and forth with the right foot, stretching into the calf muscles, working through the sole of the foot. And then just reconnect your knees back underneath the hips and go into a couple cat-cow motions. Tucking the toes, eyes looking forwards as you inhale. And as you exhale, rounding through the spine, letting the shins press down towards the floor. Big breath in through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Send your hips back towards your heels and find your way into a child's pose. Whatever may be comfortable for you, you may adjust where the hands are situated just to support your head and neck a little bit more. You can take your hands to 2 stacked fists and just rest your forehead on top of your hands. Toes can be tucked underneath you. Once again, releasing any tension or stress along the ankle joint is what we're looking for here. Opening up through the hips, your knees are wide apart. Again, find your own level in this child's pose. Tucking the toes back underneath, you will work your way into a wide-legged hero position. So knees are wide, hands come to high bum. Lean the shoulders back and thrust the hips forwards as you take a breath in. As you watch on the video, you can find different variations of this pose. Walking your hands back down to the floor behind you, lifting the hips as you squeeze your glutes. And releasing as you inhale. Working your way into a variation of a wheel position. Your left hand will reach back towards your left heel and extend your right arm up above your eyes. Once you hold one side for a couple of deep breaths, switch over to the other side. Once again, hand is supporting the ankle. And get a nice full front body stretch here. Breathe in, reach both arms out in front of you. Find that child's pose again for a brief moment. And adding a lateral stretch here, working through the lats. You can walk your hands over to the left side and reach your left hand towards your right hip. Play around with where you're looking in this position, as I find that the positioning of the head and the neck changes the intensity of the stretch. And when you're ready, walk your hands over to the right side and repeat. And the right hand goes towards the left hip, almost like you're trying to tuck the palm of the hand into the hip flexor. And again, rotating the head, looking right, looking left. And then recentering back onto your mat. Tuck the toes, walk the hands back, come back to kneeling, and one more big full belly stretch, walking the hands back towards your heels, bringing the chest up towards the sky, eyes are following towards the ceiling. And release from the position, walk your hands back to the front of your mat, this time stepping your toes back into a high plank position. Heels centered right over top of the balls of your feet. Take a breath in here, and as you exhale, lift the hips up and back into your downward facing dog. You can keep your knees bent here, so we're not trying to overforce anything through your full body stretch session today. We're just listening. Option here is to lift and lower the heels a couple of times. Breathing in, drawing the hips up towards the ceiling, and breathing out, getting a calf stretch in as you draw your heels to the floor. Take one heel down to the ground as you extend one leg, and then bend the other leg, almost into a slow walk the dog. One knee bending while one knee goes straight. Feeling pressure into the fingertips as those wrists may start to get sore. Come back into your high plank and then slowly draw the chest and the belly down to the ground. Elbows come to the floor as you inhale into a Sphinx position. Retuck the toes, lift the hips, extend at the elbows and come back up to high plank and then work your way to downward facing dog. You take a recovery breath here, in through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Walk your toes so that the feet are touching side by side, and then take your left knee and bring it forwards as you plant the left foot into a high lunge. Drop the right knee down to the ground, hands come towards your quad, you go into a deep lunge stretch. Take your right arm to intensify the stretch and just slowly lean over to the left side, drawing the right hand forwards as you bring your hips back into a hamstring stretch. Use the left hand on the ground as support. Breathe in as you walk your hands over to the right side of your body, and then you'll open up into a single leg groin stretch. Right knee is bent, left leg is extended. Left hand comes to support the left leg. Keep your belly lifted here. And then we bring the chest up and the left arm up and over to the right side. And you'll transition over onto the right leg into a pigeon stretch. The right leg will come in front of you. The left leg floats behind the left hip. And just be aware of the angles here of the body, of the legs. Work with your own hip range of mobility. You can activate your pigeon by tucking the left toes and lifting the left knee. The more you squeeze and contract through the glutes, the more intense you will feel that stretch become. And then slowly just make your way out of that pigeon pose and into a 90-90 with the knees and go into a little flip-flop. So we'll switch over to the other side, draw the knees in together, and then come back to find your base high plank position. Lifting the hips up and back into a downward facing dog. Take a recovery breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Shift your weight forwards, chaturanga down to the ground, this time lifting up into full cobra, extending at the elbows. Drop the chest back down to the floor, lift the hips up high plank into downward facing dog. We reconnect the toes together side by side. Bringing your right knee in toward your chest this time, step that right foot down into an athletic lunge. And then dropping the left knee down to the floor, hands come to the right quad. Breathe in as you look up. Breathe out as you lift the left arm up over top of the shoulder and have a slight right lean. As you go into your hamstring stretch, hips go back, left arm comes forwards. Find your balance here. Draw both hands down towards the left side of that front leg and then open up the hips into your single leg groin stretch. This time the right leg is extended and the left knee is working down towards the ground. Hips are opening, hands are down on the floor for support. And think of lifting your belly up away from the floor in order to support your spine. Continuing that rotation towards the left leg, we bring the left leg in front for your pigeon pose. Ensuring that the right leg is drawn right behind your right glute. Lift the chest up, press your fingertips into the floor, take a breath in. As you exhale, just feel any tension release. Once again, activating your pigeon by choice, tucking the toes, lifting the back knee, squeezing into those glute muscles. Slowly drop the glutes down to the ground, finding the knees at 90-degree angles, and then flip-flopping over to bring your right leg in front and connecting the feet in together as one. We'll just rock the hips and the knees side to side here. And then extend the legs straight out in front of you. Go into a seated forward folds. On the inhale, look up and lift the chest. Exhale, point the toes, scoop the hands underneath the legs, and then draw the forehead down towards the knees. We'll slide the left knee in towards you, opening up through the hip and going into a single leg hamstring stretch. Just allowing the left hip to open and the right hamstrings to embrace that stretch. Draw the right toes to meet with the left into a butterfly position. Nose goes down to smell your stinky feet. And using those elbows to press the knees wide. Fold the legs back in together as one unit and continue in through your forward folds. You can cup the hands underneath the calf muscles as you point your toes, once again drawing the nose closer to the knees. As you switch sides, right foot comes towards the inside of the left knee and go into the single leg stretch, working through the left hamstrings, opening up through the right hip. And draw the legs back in together as one. And then scoot your weight forwards to the front end of your mat, giving yourself space to rock and roll back and forth towards the shoulder blades and then back into your seat. Have some fun with it. Give yourselves a nice spinal muscle massage. And then resting on your backs, we'll bring the hips to open, the knees in line with the armpits, and work your way into a happy baby. Holding on to the outer soles of the feet if you can reach, using the elbows to press the knees wide. You can extend one leg at a time, working through the calves and your adductors here. And bending both knees in and then extending both legs as long as you can get them, reaching those toes out away from one another. And just rock and roll side to side, and then fold the knees and the legs back in together. Shake out the legs, and then come to rest full body on your mat. Give yourself a nice full stretch, reaching the arms up overhead and the toes out in front of you. Continuing to calm the nervous system down, one breath at a time. Float the arms down to your sides, palms of the hands look up towards the ceiling. And for the comfort of your low backs, just bring your soles of the feet to the ground and your right hand to your low belly. Breathing into this space underneath the palm of your hand. Once again, pulling your attention and your focus back into the breath. Letting the stomach rise as you inhale and fall as you exhale. This moment is for you. You can stay here as long as you wish or roll onto one side of your body, resting your ear on your bicep and coming up to finish your practice in a seated position. Hands come to your chest. Take an inhale, sigh of relief, exhale. I hope to see you again soon. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.